Welcome back. I've decided to start a new series called Games That Inspired Me This Month, where I talk about games I've played this month that inspired me to be a better game developer. Let's get into it. Now, I'm going to start out a little vanilla and a little retro with the Burnout Revenge series, and please don't click off right away, especially if you're not a racing fan, because I think there's a lot to learn here, especially for modern indie devs who are working with user interface. Now, Burnout in the Burnout series actually has a lot to teach when it comes to UI and presentation, and that is why it always inspires me whenever I'm playing it. I'm really in love with old school reward UI, stuff that's paired with sharp, snappy animations and sound effects, the kind that you'd hear in an arcade or an old arcade game. Here, check out what Burnout's cooking. From the explosions of your star rating to the subtle snappy synth stabs when you steal first place or you perfectly boost around a corner, this UI has always inspired me. It's the best example I've found in a somewhat modern game that showcases exactly how to make a UI that feels rewarding and engaging and interesting, and not stale and samey like lots of what we're seeing today. So if you're in a UI rut or you want to do something that's a little bit more poppy without looking at what other people are making around you right now, this is a very, very good example to go check out. Second up, we've got Arctic Eggs, a weirdo game made for weirdos by weirdos. So far, I've only played it for a few hours, but it is dripping with things that inspire me. First of all, the camera angles. I love these. Every time I click while talking to NPCs, the camera frames up a new aesthetically pleasing shot. It feels so clean and fresh to speak to NPCs this way. I'm really tired of the generic scrolling we see in so many 2D RPGs, but I didn't realize I was until seeing this. What a simple yet effective way of delivering dialogue. I also noticed as your camera snaps to new angles and you read what NPCs have to say, you get this awesome, dreamy warping quality to the models. I love this. People have been using this warp effect to try and mimic what PlayStation 1 games look like, but now we're starting to see people take advantage of these degrading effects like warping to try and stylize their games. It's inspiring me to make my games feel less retro and more hyper retro. Like, how can I use these weird degrading effects to make a new style? And I think Arctic Eggs is kind of doing that, so it's sick. Check it out. Also, the soundtrack for Arctic Eggs is like strangely awesome. Like, you're just cooking eggs, but it's got beats like nothing else. Definitely check it out. Last is a game that many people have talked about, and I'm very late to the party, but holy smokes, Punch-Out! This game feels like it embodies the modern indie philosophy of focused and simple game design, and I always forget that modern indie philosophy used to just be regular game design. Punch-Out is so simple, yet its depth is unmatched by many contemporary games. Remember that game Titan Souls, or even Fury, these old boss rush games that meant to copy what Dark Souls was doing but did it without all the stuff leading up to the boss? That's what Punch-Out is. But because the movement system is so original, because you aren't just a little object moving around freely in a space, but instead you're just this set of sprites connected to every button press, it feels really different from what people make and what people play today. Today, most games start out by programming their player movement. They have a little 2D sprite or a capsule and they move it around the world, and then they build the game around that. But there aren't as many games like Punch-Out where the game is built around the player and the game moves around the player. And it's really inspiring me to want to make something like that. The friend who made me play this also pointed out that each boss is like a puzzle, and figuring out how to solve each puzzle makes you feel awesome because you're solving it in real time while watching lots of fun and great, amazing animations that give you awesome feedback. This, again, has inspired me so much. I really want to make a game kind of like this, and if you haven't played Punch-Out, please do it. I always thought it looked kind of lame and that it wouldn't hold up, but I promise you, it feels like a modern indie game. And I am so stoked that there's so many of these games that I haven't played. I can't wait to play the whole series. All right, time for the honorable mentions. Number 1 is Cruelty Squad. It's weird. If you want to be a hitman cyberpunk style, I definitely think that this does the cyberpunk thing better than cyberpunk does. Obviously, the graphics aren't good, but it's because it's supposed to make you feel like a shitty person. And the more that you upgrade yourself, the shittier you feel because you are just this person that's going out to steal people's body parts to sell on the black market. And you're helping all these corporations do terrible things to each other. So really, really does deliver on that, corpo fantasy in a way that I don't think people are expecting. Definitely worth checking out. Next up was Dyson Sphere. I love these factory building games, and if you haven't checked out Dyson Sphere yet, I think it's slowly becoming better than Satisfactory and Factorio, which are the other big two. Don't get me wrong, I freaking love both of those games, and I was leaning toward Factorio for a while, but Dyson Sphere is winning me over just because they keep adding stuff that is making the genre easier to get into. A big problem in this genre is that when you first start out, you don't really know what to build or what to progress towards. And they just added this goal system that it doesn't tell you what to do exactly, but it gives you options. It's like, hey, you're at this point in the game, you can definitely start building an oil mining system. So here you go, and it puts it up on the HUD, and you can go out and start building toward these goals. I love this. I think every game in this genre should have something like this. You can turn it off if you don't like it. It rules. Last but not least is Mad Max. I always end up playing this game while I'm waiting for other games to come out, just because it's a great slow burn. You just drive around in the desert, upgrade your car. I am increasingly inspired to make a game about upgrading a vehicle because I don't feel like it's been done that much justice, and I think this is the closest to a perfect vehicle upgrading open world game that we've gotten. The other one being Days Gone. And whenever I play a apocalypse car upgrading game, I just think, why haven't we done this better? So I always get inspired by Mad Max because I think we can do better. All right, end screen crew. Got a couple of announcements for you this time around. First one being, I'm doing a Fight for Air climb. It benefits research for lung cancer, and my goal right now is to raise $250. I've only had one person donate. Shout out to you, Berlin. Thank you so much. If you'd like to donate, you totally can. I can raise the goal if we end up hitting the goal. If not, $250 is definitely plenty. Secondly, as always, the demo link for my game is in my Discord. The Discord has been popping off lately. Thank you everybody for joining. Lastly, thank you so much. Thank you for watching everything that I've been making. Thank you for commenting on everything, sharing everything that you've been making. Please continue to do that in the comments. I love seeing everything that everybody's making. That is the other thing that has really inspired me in January, is everybody watching these videos and supporting me. If there's anything that you'd like to see me talk about or things that you're curious about, please leave a comment. Please tell me what you're working on, and thank you so much for being here. Thanks for staying to the end. You guys rule. Peace out.